Welcome to Kendra's Artistic Crochet Designs. And so we are going to go further on our sweater here, um, our fall sweater, for a man's fall sweater. But there are some changes that I had to make. Uh, when we did the corners on this, I had to do, this was the herringbone half double crochet. So we did two herringbone, chain two, and two herringbone instead of one herringbone, chain two, and one. So I had to take it all out, and then I just had to keep trying this on him um, until the sleeve went a little ways over the shoulder, just a little ways over the shoulder. That's how I did it. So it ended up being 15 rows for him. So I did 15 rows of this before we started this part. Okay. And then also uh, when we started this, we did when I did this half double crochets around putting these two corners together to make this, I put three half double crochet in that corner to put those two together, and on this side too I put three half double crochet to crochet those corners together. Okay. And then we just did the single crochets, and then when we went to do the double crochets to start this basket weave, I think I did this last time too, um, right in this area I put two double crochets in one and two in the other on each side, just to give it some more out here. um, because when you do the basket weave, it keeps wanting to bunch up. So I had to add some more stitches to make sure that the side, it wasn't so tight. And then I did he needed 15 inches from under his arm. I did 14 inches down here, and now I'm going to put a rib bottom on it, a ribbing bottom, so that we're back at the brown, and I am just going to be working with brown here on out. All right, so we're going to do what we did up here. We're going to do half double crochets. So we're just putting half double crochet in each stitch. And we're going to go all the way around with it. And we're not gonna we don't need to add any stitches or anything like that. We're just going to put a half double crochet in each stitch all the way around. All right, we're going to do that all the way around, and then I will meet you at the end of this round. All right, so I just got a few more stitches here to finish up this. And then we're just going to slip stitch into that first stitch. All right, now we're going to chain one. And then now what we're going to do in row two of this ribbing, we're doing this waistband. We're going to go to we've got this is the front loop, the back loop, and the third loop. The third loop is in the back right there. Okay, we're going to double crochet in the third loops. So we're just going to take and double crochet in each one of those third loops. I use these half double crochets a lot here lately because I love this when we are starting a new stitch. I love that ridge, and it's just, you know, I just like it. I don't know. Just like this, we've got the ridge stitch right here before we started the basket weave, because we went from one stitch to another. So I used this half double crochet to transition from one stitch to a next. That's the word I was trying to find. Transition. I like the transition. So since we're going to do a rib stitch for the waistband here. And that's what you're going to do. You're just going to double crochet all the way around like that in the third loop of your half double crochets. And then we'll be back at the end of this round. Okay, so we've got round 2, which is those double crochets around there, and I chain 1. So what we're going to do is around this first one, we're going to go front post double crochet, and then we're going to be doing a back post double crochet, and then a front post double crochet, and back post. You're just going to keep repeating that front, back, all the way around. And that is called the ridge stitch. So yep, so just keep doing that all the way around, and then we'll be back. Well, we're actually, you were, yeah, we'll be back for row, this was row 3, we'll be back for row 4 in a moment. Alright, so there's our rib stitch there. So now we're going to chain 1, and now we're just going to single crochet in every stitch around to finish off this waistband. This is the last row of this. Alright, and then when we come back, we're going to work on our turtleneck part. So just go all the way around with the singles. That'll finish off the waistband. You'll cut that off and sew that end in. Alright, and we'll see in a bit. Okay, so we finished off the ribbing, and now we're going to do the turtleneck. But we need to decrease this a bit. So we're going to decrease it on the 4th one. So we're just going to do single crochets. So there's 2, 3, and then this is where we're going to decrease. So we're going to do an invisible decrease. So we're going to go through the first one and the second one on the front loop, and then pull through both. There we go. And now we need to do the next 3. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to go through both of these and pull through both. So that's what an invisible decrease is. Alright, so now we're going to go through, we're going to put a single crochet in the next 3. So there's 2, and 3, and then we're going to do our invisible decrease. We'll do 1, 2, and 3. Okay, you want to do that all the way around. Just repeat that. And we'll be back after this round. Okay. All right, so we've got, yeah, I think that'll do it. All right, so now we're just going to crochet around until this gets long enough to do a turtleneck. Okay, I'm just trying to think of what I want to do. I think that we're going to do the herringbone half double crochet like we did down here. So we'll just do the herringbone half double crochet, and we'll just do a few rounds of this. I'm going to do about 5 rows of this and see where it takes me, and then we'll be back after that. So we'll just do 5 rows of this, the herringbone half double crochet, and that's all you're doing all the way around. Okay, and I will see you at the end of the 5th row. All right, so I did 1 round of it. I wanted to remind you, when we're doing this, you will turn the whole thing, go the opposite way when you do the next round. Or yes, when you do the next round. So make sure when you do round 2 that you're going to turn it and go the opposite way, because they look a lot better since they slant. When you do this, make it slant the other way on the next round. It looks a lot better that way. So I've decided that I'm going to do 6 rounds since we're doing this. So I will see you at the end of round 6. Okay, so 6 rows is not going to do it. We're going to need at least 6 more rows. So just keep continuing that stitch going around for 6 more rows. And then we'll see you after that. So you'll have a total of 12 rows when you're done. Okay, so yes, there is 12, and it folds down nicely like this. Perfect turtleneck for a man. Love it. All right, now we need to finish off this turtleneck, and we're going to chain 1, and all we're going to do is single crochet all the way around. Just put a single crochet in every stitch all the way around, and then you will take and connect it to the first one you come around, and then cut it off and sew down the end. And then we'll be back to do sleeves. I'll see you then. Okay. All right, so we're going to work on the sleeves today. And I have connected it where this is where I connected these two corners together. So I connected it in there. But we're going to make these um, the half double crochet herringbone, or the herringbone half double crochet, which is the exact stitch that we made here. So we're pretty much familiar with this stitch. And so I'm going to go all the way around with this, and I'm going to meet you over here on this side, and I'll see you then. Okay, so I'm all the way around there, and I'm going to do is just slip stitch to the first one that I started here. So, round 2. I have to start, we'll start decreasing the sleeve a little bit because the sleeve is a little bit large right now. So, but we want to go the other way. All right, so we're turning it, we're going with the inside facing us now. All right, and we're going to, using the exact same stitch, we're going to do 4 stitches. So there's 2, 3, and 4. And on the 5th one, we're going to decrease. So I'm going to do an imaginary decrease right here. So I took the front loop of both stitches, and I'm going to make that same stitch. All right, now we're going to decrease on the 5th one. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we're going to do an imaginary decrease. You can't see it. It's my favorite thing to do when I'm decreasing. All right, so again, we're going to do 4, the next 4 stitches, and then do our imaginary decrease on the 5th one. So we're going to do that all the way around, okay? And I will meet you at the end of this round. All right, so row 3, we're actually, for the next 4 rows, we're going to do that decrease, that same decrease that we did in the last row. So first of all, we need to go the opposite way. So now the front is facing. So we're going to do that same decrease. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to decrease. I'm going to do that invisible decrease. And then the next 4 again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to decrease. All right, so we're going to do that for this row and the next 3 after this. So you will have a total of 6 rows on this when you're done. And I will see you then. So you I only did five rows total. So 4 rows of that decreasing because I didn't want to do another row. I do not want that any smaller. So so it's 4 rows of decreasing, 5 rows altogether. You should have, I got 38 stitches. All right, so we're going to chain one and turn, and we're going to do a few rows of just no decreasing. We're just going to do our stitches. Um, I'm trying to think. I need to get to, I think it was 20 inches. So I need to get to 19 inches so I can do a cuff on the sleeve. So let's do 10 rows. Let's do 10 rows of this, and then you'll have um, 15 rows altogether. Okay, so we're just going to do the same thing, going around and around until we have 15 rows. And I will see you then. Okay, so we're just going to continue. We've got 15 rows. We're going to continue doing what we were doing just by going around and around for another 10 rows. And then we're going to measure that and see what we've got. Right now I've got 7 inches, and we'll just do 10 more rows and see where that takes us. So we will be back in a moment. All right, so what I ended up doing was just keep continuing that. I have 40 rows here. That is 19 inches, and I needed 20 inches for his sleeve. So now I'm going to put a cuff on it, and I kept an inch so that I could put the cuff on it. So what we're going to do now is we need to do some decreasing. So I'm trying to think of how many decreases do I need to make. Let's decrease after, we're going to do single crochets to start this off. Let's decrease after every third. So we're going to do that. That kind of a decrease like we've been doing. So there's 2. I'm going to decrease after every third and see how that goes. I'm wondering if it should be every other. All right. Hmm. And now I really think it should be every other. Let's take that out. I don't think that's enough of a decrease. All right, so let's start over. So we're going to decrease after every other stitch. And I want to see what that looks like. So we're going from 38 stitches to half, I guess. So what would that be? 16? No, it would be 8, 19. All right. Yeah, that's a lot better. That's better. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put a cuff on this. And so we're going to chain one, and I'm going to do half double crochets. So let's just do a half double crochet in every stitch around. So you should have 18 stitches. All right, slip stitch to the top. Okay, so now chain one, and now we're going to half double crochet. We're going to do a front post half double crochet, and then a back post half double crochet. So we used double crochets to do the ridge work, the ridge stitch on the bottom of this sweater, but we're just going to use these half double crochets for the cuff. So it's front, then back, and then front and back, front and back. So all the way around. Hang on a second. All right. So now for the next row, you'll do whatever's front is front and whatever's back is back. Did I do a double? And all right. So we're just going to do this for a few more rows. Somebody's after my yarn again. I got Miss Helena, the wild child, running around up and down the stairs. All right. I'm thinking we are going to need, as you could see how that's coming out, we're probably going to need another row, one more row maybe. Um, let's measure that. I have a whole inch to work with. Hmm. Yeah, let's do one more row. It'll look better. Okay, let's just do one more row around, and then we can do our single crochets. All right. Yeah, that looks much better. All right, so now we're going to chain one, and then we're going to just do single crochets in every stitch around, and then you can cut it off at the end, and make sure you do the other sleeve the exact same way. Um, and then you sew your ends in, and then the sweater will be finished. I hope you guys enjoyed making this sweater with me. I want to thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and bye bye now.